Typically, every video begins with an intro and me saying, hello there, Internet. But this time, we got something special for you guys. And it's just something that I've been working on. And here it is. Hope you enjoy. And
And we're back.
there it is. So that is something that I just kind of concocted a little bit, if that's even a word. I was just doodling on my iPad and decided to throw up some doodles. So we have three mascots. They are official, unofficial mascots for the channel. And we haven't come up with names yet. We've been throwing around names, but we haven't had any official.
How about we make this fun? Something for our viewers. As a we love you guys, and to make this more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Interactive.
Interactive. Yeah, thank you. Why don't you guys come up with some names for us, and we can put it in the name generator or whatnot, and whichever name comes up on the generator, that's the names we'll use for our new mascots. How does
Right,
that sound?
right. We have the original logo that I doodled up. That's just uh, a doodle that's on some of the videos. They've been kind of getting some color, some not, but I try to keep that one black and white. But when I put it as a water drop, it doesn't really work, or watermark. But then we got the new girl, who actually shows on her book what the channel is about. So that's a nice little sneak peek, so you guys can rewind and watch that again after the video. And then we also have a superhero bear, superhero dog, bear dog, dog
Your
bear,
dog pig.
a dog pig, half man, half bear, half pig type dog animal. But he's a superhero, so that's just something I was just drawing up on the iPad and, just getting something down on paper. I know it looks like a third grader drew it, but it's
Let's just say
something
drugs
that's,
were not involved during this process.
no, if they were, it'll probably come out a lot more worse, the way that I draw. But that's just something there. So that's just something to kick off and everything, on this video. So I wanted to unveil that for a very special video as well, because this video is a review slash recap of San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2020. Now, there has been a lot of mixed reviews, but um,
The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the all
good, the
in
bad,
between.
the ugly, the disappointed, the frustrated. Um, Everybody knows that San Diego Comic-Con did not happen due to the global situation. But that left a lot of vendors and a lot of distributors and a lot of companies basically SOL with what to do with their products. So um, when it comes to having this convention, I think, let me put it this way, there are winners and losers in the San Diego Comic Con at home. From my perspective, I see the biggest
Scalpers were the winners.
scalpers were the winners in this year's Comic Con, and the biggest losers were not just the fans by losing those exclusives, but from my perspective, I see things in a big open perspective. The small time artists, the small business owners, those people were the big losers because they didn't have an opportunity to sell their products. Now you do have the big vendors like your
Even just
Mattel, your
San Diego. Sorry, in
San
general,
Diego. San
they
Diego
generate a
lost.
lot of money.
They lost 250 million, right around that mark, from all the people just for the week. It's funny. I was actually looking at some pictures. People were posting up from San Diego Comic Con this weekend. There are some cosplayers out there, but it's just you can see the street, you can see the sidewalks. It's just like a post-apocalyptic, surreal type atmosphere for
It
San
is.
Diego
I'm
this
not
week
gonna
around
lie. I
time.
thought about going down there this weekend. I really
I didn't.
did.
You could have. I wasn't. But no,
I
it
didn't because of El COVID, but I
yeah,
really
the
thought about it.
global situations and stuff, but no, it's sad because a lot of like I said, the small time artists, they were selling their commissions and everything. So Artist Alley is a section where all these artists get together and sell their stuff. But they really didn't have an avenue. So if this convention were to happen, 20 years ago, online wasn't really a thing unless you dialed up on your landline phone and everything. But from how I saw it, those vendors and small time companies lost out. I know Mary and I always find deals on trade comic books and stuff like that. So those vendors too, uh, selling 5, 10, $20 comic books,
Mm-hmm.
they lost out because they don't really have a need. They'd be losing money if they wanted to ship out items versus sending them out at whatever. But um, so yeah, those people were the losers. In terms of the bigger companies, there's good and bad. So what I mean by the bigger companies, it's the companies that sell their exclusives via not the Funko. They're one of them via the lottery system. So those companies, I would probably say 90% of it was a miss for this year. The only company that I don't believe is a miss quite yet is Hasbro because they unveiled that they're going to do pre-orders come September for all their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives that were supposed to be out this weekend, which I don't understand. There's only one company that I'll mention later that actually did the pre-order system the way pre-order should be, and then there are companies that just flat out either A, didn't know what was going on, two, underestimated the scalpers and the bots, or three,
Just dropped the
um,
ball.
just dropped the ball. And um, this is going to be our experience personally for what we've had to go through. So let's talk about the first day. So um, Comic Con exclusives were going in and out of sales. Everything was online, folks. So you had to be online at a certain time. Sometimes products released at a unexpected time and they just sold out even with no release date. But the first battle that Mary and I encountered were a known battle. We knew that this was going to be happening at 5:01 p.m. on Wednesday night, and because Funko released their information that they're going to be releasing their Funko Pops exclusively through the Funko store. Um, the good part about it is that it was there. The bots, the bots would have had a lot more difficulty getting through to there. And for those that don't know, what I mean by bot, maybe Mary can dive in more about this. But a bot is a sophisticated software or sophisticated app on your computer that basically, I don't know how it works, but
It's not even a software. It's more just an algorithm that someone puts together. And from there, they're able to bypass all the security, hop in within seconds to get what it is that the user that actually created this bot or purchased this bot is trying to go for. Whether it's product, well, it's mainly always products. So
and when Mary said seconds, no, it's literally sometimes half of that. I saw it firsthand, which I'll go over later, but I know the first battle with bots were Tuesday morning. I think it was Target is the worst when it comes to bots, and we'll dive into a deep dive of our thoughts and everything. But we're gonna
Target
get
is
through
just the
our
worst when it comes to a lot of exclusives.
yeah. So the first exclusives that were released were GI Joes and something else that were released. But I heard so many problems by people trying to get that. But so essentially what you do is you'll go online and you'll put the items in your cart, but the bots are like 100 times faster by getting through all the processes and putting in information. So by the time you click add to cart, the bots have already completed the purchase and they've completed the max quantity purchase of whatever they've done. So the first complaints came out Tuesday for certain items, but on Funko's website, they kind of do things a little differently. They have more security layers where they have a CAPTCHA system where you have to click a button that says "I am not a robot," and then you got to click these little pictures of certain items like a stop sign or whatever. So bots can't physically click things. The bots can't click on an actual icon or a hyperlink text. So that was the good thing on Funko. But that was pretty much it. Um, so let me get this straight. So at 5:03, I get a phone call from Mary. I instantly decline it because I'm on my phone and she's on her iPad or laptop. And Mary, why don't you go ahead and explain how it is, because Funko has and always will be more your thing. You just got me hooked on them. But go ahead and explain how the Funko process worked from start to finish when you click on the cart. Because I remember too that there were a lot of there were more pops available through the Funko store than were actually shown at first. Like I remember we saw Stan Lee, we saw um, the Cyberborg Superman. There was Nightcrawler from Hot Topic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go ahead and explain your experience because I got some myself.
So, the way the Funko process works is, like Danny previously mentioned, the sale was supposed to start at 5:01. In reality, it actually started before that, because I remember refreshing. So I logged onto the site at about 4:55. It wasn't open yet. About 4:58, I clicked the refresh button and it was loading. So at 4:59, I didn't want to play around with it, so I manually refreshed myself. And from there, the store was open. So I started putting all of the ones that I wanted in my cart, got them in my cart, but there was a checkout process similar to where when you're purchasing tickets for Comic-Con, where you have your blue ring. So this blue ring was not so much buying tickets, but it was a blue ring to wait for checkout. So that process took maybe about 5 or so minutes. And from there, you're transported over to the page where it calculates your shipping. Now, this is where they dropped the ball. Some people were on that page for a couple of minutes because I was also doing my research on Twitter during this whole process. Some people were waiting on that page alone for about an hour. So it just really depends, one, on how lucky you were at this point. Now, the point or the problem was that a lot of people had was there were only 2 prices for shipping. If you had under $50, then the charge was, I believe, $6.99, $7.99, or something like that.
I didn't even notice. I just wanted it, just whatever it was is what it was going
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
But if you were over $50, then the shipping was automatically free. Sounds easy, right? But it wasn't, because of, I guess, their system was being overloaded, which I'll get into that in a minute, with users trying to obviously check out their items. So once the shipping cost was calculated, you were able to move over to the page where you process your card information to check out. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. It's not. So at least in my case, it wasn't. So I put in my checkout information. Now, the first couple of times, that was my fault because I got my CVV number mixed up with a couple of my other cards that I've been using more often. So when I finally put the right number in, it loaded to the next page, which would have been my confirmation page. But from there, I got an error message saying that it was so many users on, so I had to retry later. So I kept clicking the retry button or the refresh button that was hyperlinked at the bottom. After a few tries, it finally went through to check out. But at that point, some of my items that were in my cart were sold out. So that's the thing that a lot of people were complaining about. Funko did not have a process set in place to where if you had the items in your cart, that they were held there. Even if it was for 15 minutes, like how Comic-Con will give you a grace period to put in your payment information. There was no grace period. There was no nothing. Once the items were sold out, they were sold out, which is what they failed to tell you. They didn't hold them in your cart. So I was like, okay, that's fine. whatever, as long as I get, these few, I'm fine. Because I really, really wanted Stan and Wallace, which Stan, Target exclusive, easy to get. Wallace, Funko only exclusive. I'm a really big Scott Pilgrim fan. So he was one of the ones that I really wanted. Long story short, after finally getting through the retry page, put in my payment information, again, it went through. But instead of getting a confirmation page like most other people have gotten, I got an error page. At that point, I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? So do I try to do this again? Because it didn't have a refresh thing on there like it did before. It just said error, system timed out, or some BS. Check my banking statement, shows that the payment went through. So I'm like, okay, fine. My order went through. It's showing that I was charged. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Long story short, no confirmation. Danny is, I'm talking to Danny at this point. He's like, oh yeah, like my order just went through. I got my confirmation. I'm like, that's odd. I didn't get anything. He's like, go log into your account. But me trying to rush everything through, I didn't log into my Funko account. I checked out as a guest. First mistake. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll probably get a confirmation later. Wrong.
It is now.
It
is now Sunday.
It's still no confirmation.
Yes.
In fact, I messaged him on Twitter. No response that same day. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're going through everyone's, complaints. So I messaged him on Twitter again, like a couple of days later. Still nothing. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Danny was like, maybe you should call them. I'm like, I don't know a number to call them. Whatever. So I went onto the website and went onto the chat box option to send them, submit a ticket on what happened. Finally got a response, and they're correlating it to it being a dead order that never went through. So at this point, I'm just waiting for the payment to fall off my account. If it doesn't, I'll take care of it later. Long story short, as far as what's going back about the system. So during this whole ordeal and me talking to Danny and me stalking Twitter, reading about everyone else's frustrations, comes to find out, Funko, I'm not sure if this is the same with the other companies. I just know this is what happened with Funko. They switched over to who they're dealing with as far as with setting up their sell site. They, I guess, joined a partnership with Shopify, but because so many people were buying exclusives, which is expected. I mean, Funko is always one of the really big ones. They couldn't handle the traffic, which, from my understanding, same thing happened a few weeks previously when they launched Dwight from The Office with the unicorn. Some people said the same process happened during that time, and it was a big mess with that. So a lot of people, of course, were upset because you would think that they would have fixed the issue, especially with this coming up. But it was the same thing. So one of the big losers, in my opinion, Funko. But go on, Danny.
Yeah, like losers in terms of, we don't mean like losers like they lost, just we meant like,
They just
I think we meant like the good and the bad is how we're going to consider it. When we talk about losing, a lot of true fans that actually love the products and the franchises and IPs that were released, those people are the losers. The winners were the bots and the scalpers, but
especially when you are reading all of the people bragging about, oh, I got like 20 million, like, well, I'm being over dramatic when I say this. Black Lightning Funkos that I'm putting on eBay as we speak, which a lot of people, including myself, wanted a Black Lightning Funko as well, because I genuinely like the show and the comic is actually pretty cool. But
yeah, because that one was only sold at the show, which means that one was only sold at the Funko store online.
Like
and not
Wallace.
even shared retail exclusives. So turns to find out Mary was put in a position where she didn't know she had to go out and search for more because that was just the first run for Funko. Funko went ahead and distributed a lot of the Funkos that were exclusive to San Diego Comic Con to other retailers such as Hot Topic, Target, Best Buy, Walmart, F4 Entertainment, Toy Tokyo, and then all
Box
those
lunch.
box lunch, and then all those sales started at 6:01 p.m. Pacific time.
Not
Uh,
all.
not all, but some of them started at 6:01 Pacific Standard Time. The next batch was 9:01 p.m. Pacific
And
Standard
then
Time.
another was the following day.
Yeah, which we kind of found out later because we kept refreshing at 9:01 p.m. Pacific Time because we were already. The thing is with Comic Con, you're just doing things. You're not thinking half the time. You're just doing things. If you see something, you go for it. So when all these things started releasing, Mary and I was just like refreshing Entertainment Earth site because they had Raz Al Ghul and didn't they have like a Fortnite one or something? I don't remember. But they had
No.
Raj Al Ghul, Ra's Al Ghul. But the long story short is those didn't go on sale till 9:01
Wasn't it Mr.
a.m.
Freeze?
No, that was GameStop,
Oh yeah. You're
which
right.
I
You're
didn't
right.
get him because it kept going in and out of stock. So whatever. Um, so there's different times when these were released, but it kind of put some people in a predicament because she ordered some of them that were in her order, but then apparently the order went dead. In my case, my order went in. However, half my order was sold out before the time I even got to my cart and checkout. Um, so there were two big issues when it came to Funko. The first one was um, once you get your items in your cart, waiting to get to your order summary took about 20 to 30 minutes. And then the other big lag part was the shipping calculation. For some reason, the shipping wasn't populating for a lot of people, and that just gives people plenty of time to buy the stock. So say if you have somebody who's started and actually went ahead and completed their purchase, but they're waiting on that shipping populated part, and somebody comes in after and buys what they wanted, that person who started first is going to get screwed over. So essentially, what it's like is you're standing in line to check out at a grocery store, but somebody comes into your cart, grabs your bananas and oranges and whatever,
Yeah,
and
these are
walks into
mine
a
now.
different cashier and checks out with your item. That's exactly how it was. Um, so yeah, all in all, I only got I think it was four of the Funkos. I at least got the one that I wanted, which was the Michelangelo with the surfboard. But I did not get like the Stan Lee. I couldn't get so it was just a big fiasco. And then so that was Wednesday night. So then throughout the weekend, more exclusives were released. So Thursday morning, I um, went ahead and logged into Super 7 and Super 7. I got to give props to those people over there because they actually hold what a true pre-order means. So the way that Super 7 did it is that there were two items that I was particularly looking for, um, and it was the Ultimate Baxter Stockman Glow in the Dark exclusive and the TMNT reaction figures uh, exclusive that glow in the dark. Turns out I was money conscious. I actually canceled my reaction figures because I don't collect the line. The reaction figures are your basic like 1980 collectible toys with 5 points of articulation, neck, shoulders, and hips. Um, so it turns out I didn't get it, but the way that they did it was they already knew that they were going to bring in these convention exclusives, so they knew how much they were going to actually have. So that process was flawless. I literally logged in, checked out. It was like a nice casual trip to the store. But Super 7 does pre-orders the way that they do it, so um, they'll go ahead and hold a 30-day or 60-day pre-order time slot, and they'll only make whatever they have made to order. So that's why a lot of Super 7 products are hard to find after they've been released because they've only made uh, products allocated for their pre-orders. So that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is to produce however many figures you want or collectibles or items and ship those out directly. Um, so there's been a lot of other issues. I knew that Target stores at 8 a.m. on Thursday morning did a release of uh, certain stores got some Funko Pops, and I wasn't able to obscure or obtain any. Neither was Mary's for the Funko Pops Thursday morning, because a lot of the San Diego Comic Con exclusives were supposed to be shipped out to stores. So I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, and the biggest blunder and biggest what the hell happened, what the Frank, was at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 Eastern on Thursday when the NECA TMNT Turtles, the musical mutagen tour Ninja Turtles were going to go on sale through Target. So I don't even know where to begin with this one because this one was just a huge bot fest. It was a huge bot. So I'm at my computer at 1 p.m. Here out in California, and they didn't go live until about 1:45. So I was playing a refresh game for about 45 minutes, just refreshing. I literally see the items go clickable basically. You can add them to your cart, but literally within 1 second after I get to the payment screen, midway through actually like typing in my CCV or CVV code, whatever it is on your credit card, I get an error message saying that your item's been sold out. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like it was literally 5 seconds from the point I clicked on add to cart, get to the payment, and just complete checkout. 5 seconds sold out, couldn't even complete the order. So then throughout the next 10 minutes, I'm fuming and everything. And then I keep seeing them go in and out of stock. And there's no way that things can go in and out of stock that quickly unless they're using the bots. So then I go on Twitter because that's where I get a lot of the information, and everybody's having that same issue. It's not NECA's fault. It's the way that Target handles their business. And even Walmart, I heard, had the same issues too with a lot of stuff. Um, so then I just, decide to make myself even more upset. And I go on eBay and I see all these confirmed orders from brand new sellers that have 0% ratings and feedback that have 5 available. So I'm like, what the frank is going on here? Um, so everybody's just discouraged and everything. And then it was around Thursday afternoon when, uh, oh gosh, who's the Funko guy? Brian,
Um, Mar-
Brian M.
yeah.
Some he comes out and he acknowledged that that the site was overloaded on Funko's side, and he apologized. Um, Same thing with NECA, Randy Falk. They did distribution through Target in the States, and then every other exclusive for their Alien, Predator, and Gremlins San Diego Comic Con exclusives was sold directly through the store. The store had some issues here and there, but uh, they actually were sifting through all the orders to cancel duplicate orders and cancel bot orders. So at least there was more faith put into the NECA store side versus the Target side. Because for Target and Walmart and all these big box retailers, uh, they don't care about the collectors, in my opinion, because for them it's just another barcode, it's just another UPC for them to scan.
Just money.
It's another DPCI. They don't care who buys the product because at the end of the day, the transaction between the the manufacturer and the retailer has already been conducted. They've already purchased the items. Now it's just Target's turn to just sell the items. So they don't care if Johnny Appleseed buys 5 of them, but then, Frank over here or Jill wants one of them because she's a fan. They don't care because the business has already been concluded. Uh, so that's how a lot of these things have been done over the weekend. But uh, luckily, though, I did manage to walk into a Target and get the other packs that I've been looking for just by sheer luck. And I was like, literally, I haven't smiled in years, like for how a little child should smile. But I was actually happy that I found the Casey Jones and Metalhead figures. But that wasn't San Diego Comic Con exclusive. But For other stuff that was going on, in terms of exclusive, a lot of announcements were announced and a lot of reveals. But for me, I don't know about you, Mary. For me, it was kind of hard to decipher like what has been announced already versus what is actually a San Diego Comic-Con reveal versus something that's just a new picture or
Yeah.
something. Like the coolest thing that I actually got giddy for was Todd McFarlane announced his new stuff. Um, a lot of the collectibles. Um, but the one thing that I do miss, like the biggest thing that you know, being in Comic-Con versus seeing it at home, there's two ways. When you're actually there, you get frustrated during the lines and the waiting and stuff, but you have a chance at
Yeah.
actually getting what you want. Um, and things, in my opinion, are fair. Like with the bigger retailers or bigger vendors, they do a lottery system, so it's basically whoever gets it is gonna get in there and they'll buy whatever they want. Um, versus other people, you're gonna have to wait in line and everything, but at least it's only sold to the convention attendees versus this time everybody was able to grab whatever they wanted through their online chance. Um, even the panels this year, it just doesn't feel the same watching the
Well,
panels. I mean, yeah, I'm more comfortable because I'm sitting on my couch watching the panel, but it's just got like a different like vibe, I guess you can call it. Like,
let me add this in. We don't want people to think that we're haters because we're not. We love everyone.
no, we're
We're
just
not
speaking,
saying
we're
that
speaking the truth.
it's nothing it's nothing wrong with them opening up to everyone, because at this point, if you've ever wondered what goes on at a convention, the plus side is you got a little bit of a taste for it this weekend if you decided to participate this weekend. um, but
Very small taste of what it's like.
to piggyback onto what Danny was saying, um, it was a little bit more fair being there. Atmosphere was completely different. But at the same time, if, like, let's say hypothetically, being in this situation with buying certain things that you really wanted or not being able to buy what you really wanted, at least being on the actual show floor, you had a chance to pick up a consolation prize, whether you didn't get what you wanted or whether you got something what you wanted, meaning that there were so many other vendors there. You could either discover something new on Artist Alley or just another vendor that was there, or pick up something you didn't even think that you would need or you would like. I picked
Right.
up my first lightsaber at a convention.
You did.
So
You did. And I remember that convention too. I found the one that I was gonna get, but I was saying, where am I gonna put this? And then I decided, okay, I'll go try to get it. And then it ended up somebody bought it before me. It was the blue lightsaber for Luke and Anakin. But no, you're right. For me, I call those not consolation purchases. I call them, I guess, sad impulse buys to make me somewhat forget about the pain that I forgot about. Take like after the Target NECA fiasco at the Turtles, I think you sent me the link for the Wade Wilson Funko Pop at
I
Walgreens, and it's like
did.
available. I'm like, screw it, I'll get it because at least I got this, but it's whatever it is. Plus, I mean, at the same time, we're saving money at the end of the day too. But at the same time, uh, if you haven't experienced how it is to be in San Diego Comic Con, it's a different vibe. Like for a lot of people, this is like their first experience, like trying to obtain uh, their convention exclusives. But for me, I didn't know when things were being released because a lot of the times at San Diego Comic Con, everything is at a location.
Yeah,
Here, since everything is online, every movie company, every TV show, every uh, collectible vendor had their own little iteration of Comic Con, and like you had to go and search for them directly versus just looking at a San Diego Comic Con guide for
true.
panel information or something like that. So everybody took it upon themselves to do what they wanted to do, but
Or if you
uh,
got lost, you can always cry on one of the offsites that ended up
right,
making you laugh.
right. No, there's a lot of things that are going on and stuff. So it's like that's why I mentioned, the small time uh, artists, within Artist Alley, the smaller vendors that rented out a space at the
The
convention hall.
cosplayers,
The
it's
cosplayers too, this is their time to shine and everything.
oh yeah.
I know you're probably sad about not being able to show off the Comic
I mean, I
Con
couldn't
cosplay.
cosplay even if I wanted to this year anyway. So
Yeah, that's true. But I
next
try to look
year.
at the silver lining and everything. It's been like really hot, and it's even hotter down in San Diego. And I
Oh,
just
that
remember
means nothing.
but that's like one of the things
You
that
work
will
through
take
it.
over the over the pain of not trying to get what you wanted and stuff. But um, yeah, San Diego Comic Con was really different this year. So, uh, the best thing that I've always liked about being at the convention is I love looking at the sideshow collectibles, all the statues.
Oh yeah.
You get to actually see them and everything. Finding all the bargain buys. That's where I pretty much spent a lot of the money. Is like finding all these little smaller areas of like these comic books and stuff like that. Uh, actually seeing the hype because everybody in the convention center, mainly not so much San Diego Comic Con because that's gotten really big, but uh, everybody is there for the same purpose, and that's just to celebrate, the the comic book, the movie, the media, the entertainment aspects of everything. So just being there in that atmosphere is like, I think this was the first time that this whole quarantine stuff really hit me. I'm like, wow, this is because WonderCon for me sometimes there's a hit or miss. I'll go, but I was gonna go this year, back in April. But for San Diego, that's something that's like my one vacation a year, and I just felt like it was, wow, this really isn't happening. So, uh,
And we have friends that we met in San Diego
we
that we
have
get to see
a
like once
huge
a
group of
year.
friends that we've met and become really close, throughout these years and everything. And there's one person that brought us all together, and that's a crazy thing, just what the internet can do
Yeah.
and stuff. So not being able to see them was kind of a bummer. Uh, but let's talk about the positives and everything. Um, so at
I mean,
least
that was positive, but
that was positive, but it's just making me sad thinking about it. But there's been a lot of the panels. I like the way that they did that. And so I like they tried to do the best they could with what they had to work with.
yeah.
Honestly, they could have said, you know what, we're done, we can't do this, but at least San Diego Comic Con is Comic Con International. So they said, you know what, why don't we do these virtual panels? And you know what, I've actually enjoyed it because uh, you get to see them at your own pace. A lot of the times, at least for me personally, I've run into many times where there's like two panels that overlap, or
Hmm.
they're like right back to back, but they're on the other side of the convention hall. So I had to choose. This time I get to pick whichever one it is, and uh,
Exactly.
the biggest one that, or the biggest things that I've seen is that uh, Kevin Smith has a really good camera. I don't know if you watched the Bill and Ted Face the Music panel yet.
I
Um,
haven't, but I did watch the Kevin Smith panel last night.
okay, but I started watching that, and so one thing that's different, I'm saving a lot of the panels for this week, but one thing that's different is that they bleep out a lot of the curse words, so it's all family friendly. That's one
Yeah,
thing
I
that
noticed that with the Archer one.
it's very different. So it kind of sucks. Number two, Kevin Smith has a really good camera, because he was doing the Bill and Ted Face the Music Hall H panel, and his was super crystal clear, and then everybody else's was like a normal webcam. So I was like,
Yeah.
wow, he's got a really good camera and stuff. But yeah, that's on my wish list and or my watch list. What else did I watch? Uh, I watched the WWE Mattel releases. Even that was a little different, but I realized like they don't have, whenever something is showcased, they usually don't have it. They'll just put it up on the screens. Uh, so that's kind of cool how they did that. So it just took full screen over your laptop, TV, whatever, your phone. And then all the normal same panels are there. A lot more pandemic panels, a lot more
Yeah.
global situation panels, like what to do. One panel that I wanted to learn about was something about geek business, but literally they spent 40 minutes out of their 50 minutes just introducing themselves, so I learned absolutely nothing. I forget the name of the panel, but if I figure it out by the time I edit this video, I'll mention it in the description. But there's a lot of cool panels and stuff. So anybody just has to, search
Go to
Comic
YouTube.
Con
Well, no,
YouTube.
just go to YouTube and go to Comic Con International. They're all there.
It's all there, and I even found that they're there from WonderCon of this past year,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But one thing that I wish that they would have done is, so they did that's really nice is that they split it by days of the panel. However, I don't know because for me, I always looked at what's in Hall H, what's in Ballroom 20, what's in Indigo Ballroom, what's in the regular convention rooms. But I know Hall H is your big one. Then you got Ballroom 20, the Indigo. Then you got the Marriott room. I think that's probably the Indigo. I'm not too sure. But Hall H is the big panels. I just wish they put like a subsection of like say that this is Hall H, this is there. So what I do personally is I look at the views of each of
Hmm.
the videos and I see like which ones get hits and which ones don't. Um, because I don't know. Like I don't even know what the Hall H panel ones were. I just knew that Kevin Smith always closes out Hall H Saturday nights. I know
Hmm.
Bill and Ted was on there. They had his Dark Materials, I think, was a Hall H panel this year.
Hmm.
Um I don't even know, but that's just one thing. Like there was just so much information that was just basically thrown into a garbage bag and took outside and like sift through it yourself. So
Yeah.
that's the only criticism. But other than that, I mean, everything else was pretty good. I mean, still got all the information and everything. Now people are going to complain about, you know, when it comes to geeks and nerds, I always tell people, hell hath no fury like a geek or a nerd that's pissed off on the internet. And you can clearly see everybody that just gets upset. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but life is too short when it comes to, complaining over the petty stuff. But there's always going to be something to complain about. But honestly, overall, Comic Con International, I think, did a really good job in terms of what they did. When it comes to the vendors and the retailers, that the distribution link between there just kind of cut off at a certain point. Like, I appreciate that Funko, took part in their stuff, Mattel, Hasbro, whatever it is. Um, but when it comes to when they ship it to a retailer like GameStop or Target, from that point on, it's however they decide to do things. And I know like GameStop was difficult to get through for their two Funko Pops. I don't even know what else they sold, but um, even Mondo Art
Hmm.
sold out quickly on a lot of their stuff. Cryptozoic didn't really have anything this year.
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed that about Cryptozoic.
yeah, they had a little Cryptkin, whatever thing. That's about it. But now it also begs the question too, is this the way that things could go moving forward? And personally, I hope it's not because one, it should make people a little bit more excited that hopefully Comic-Con comes back next year. Uh, because one, that everything that these merchants bring to the convention is just for the convention itself. So even the small time vendors and everything, they bring things just for the convention. So they know that they have this one opportunity to sell at this weekend only. Half the time, if it's a really big product, they'll sell out by Thursday evening and then
Oh
be
yeah.
done for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when it comes to selling things online, I think they could do it, like sell if you're not able to get into the show, like sell it directly through their website, a certain quantity. But because I hear a lot of things like this global situation could change the way that our how businesses are. Like a lot of businesses don't need to rent out building space and just can work remotely from home and save the rent and everything like that. So I just hope Comic Con doesn't do that because honestly, it's too big.
Yeah.
It brings in a lot of revenue and brings in a lot of people because the hotels lost a lot of money. The the food,
Restaurants.
the foods, the restaurants, they lost everything. So
The
Yeah,
bars,
the
definitely.
bars, everything. So I mean, it's just it's kind of weird, but um, yeah, I mean, so the next big convention that I'm aware of is New York Comic Con, which is in October, and that's not going to happen because New York is a hot spot right now, just like here in California. Um, but yeah, I mean, Mary, what else do you have to say about Comic Con? I pretty much uh, said everything. I mean, if they can just fix the retail side of things, which is not a Comic Con related issue, but in terms of everything else of how Comic Con went down, I mean, overall out of 10, what would you give it?
Overall, I'd give it
Besides,
six,
outside of your Funko deal.
six, maybe seven.
And why is that? Because like you just
You
missing
said
it,
what?
or is it just because you're missing it, or you just
No, for it to be at the house, it was it was decent, but it's still not the same. I'm missing certain panels that I'm used to seeing. I.e., the DC TV shows. They had nothing for
I
that this
noticed that
weekend. So
they didn't have anything. I think I saw
yeah,
one Marvel Universe panel, but I didn't watch it. I don't think because didn't they have Wonder Woman last year?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's the other aspect of it. I don't think the big hitters like Marvel and DC and Warner Brothers and Sony, I don't think they even did a panel because they have nothing to show because all their movies they chose to delay the releases versus bringing it out digitally. So, um, yeah, we got a lot more smaller panels versus uh, some of the bigger ones that normally we're used to where people wait out, a day before to camp out. But I always follow a motto, it always could be worse, but for me personally, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10 just because uh, you had to chase a lot of things online to get stuff that you wanted. You have to, one, if you're just the average person who's not very acclimated to the convention lifestyle, you're not going to remember who the company is. Like, oh, I wanted this one, Harley Quinn figure, but I don't remember what the the company is. And then you're going to think, oh, it's DC, but DC is just the license. Like you got it, Diamond Select, Cryptozoic, Hasbro, Mattel, uh, Cody Buyuki, whatever that. What's that one? They're always a vendor in front by the doors. Cody
Um,
Buyukiya or whatever.
what?
The one Japanese style statuettes that they have. They're that glass window display vendor in the
Oh, I don't
front.
know.
Cody Buyuki. If you guys know, drop a comment below. Cody Buyukiya, I think. I don't know because I never buy anything from them, but they got really cool stuff. But that's just the other thing too. It's like you got to know the vendor and everything. So luckily, uh, Sandy SDCC unofficial blog posts whatever they can, but they're just a fan like us trying to keep up, but at least they're keeping up for the fans. So we don't have to search through it because honestly, I couldn't keep up with everything that's happening. So that's probably like the biggest hit for me. And also just the way that these companies uh, work with retailers that don't give a shit about their fans. Plus, here in the States, there's only so many avenues these vendors can go to, or these companies. Because think about it, their toy ever since Toys R Us went down. Uh, think about it. You really only have Target and Walmart.
True.
GameStop is fading. Amazon is taking over the whole retail business.
That's
But
your Best Buy.
Best Buy is hanging by a thread here too. I don't think give them about 2 to 3 years. Uh, because they're going down. Walmart really hurts a lot of people more than they think. But outside of those companies, I mean, there's really no other retailer or big box retailer that can support that. Uh, and like with Walmart and TV, they got a lot more inventory in their stores that they care about versus one item that's 20 to 50 bucks versus the TVs or whatever it is and stuff like that. Hell, they even stopped the whole mobile program over there. Essentially, that thing's changed completely.
Yes,
And
now tech.
now I'm glad that that's over with because that was a brutal mistake. So we experienced how Target worked too, but it's changed a lot. We've learned a lot how Target works, but we didn't realize how much it's changed. Like a lot of from what I found out over the past week is that Target rents out shelf space in the stores for Funko. I found out that uh, Target does not stock or they don't receive shipments directly on their trunks from certain merchants or companies like Nintendo, Funko, NECA. Basically, everything in the entertainment section in Target is stocked by a distributor. So that
That's
includes your
stupid.
Funko Pops. So when you go and ask the Target employee, oh, does this Funko Pop here? They're not going to know because one, they'll never see it come in, and two, you just don't know when it's going to come in. Same thing with Nintendo. I know Nintendo Switches are extremely hot right now, but Target knows when they're going to get them in because but they don't know if it's going to be arriving on their truck or UPS or anything like that. So there's a lot of disconnect on the communication with that, but that's another video for that. So this was our little San Diego Comic-Con rant, San Diego Comic-Con 2020 at home. Hopefully things next year will change up, even if they have to uh, cut the uh, amount of attendees next year. I know that we're guaranteed to get in because we rolled over, so they may even say something, you know, cutting it down. I don't know how many people are allowed in there, but we'll figure it out. So Mary, you have any final thoughts before we call this video?
Um, Nothing that I can think of. Just
Yes.
be safe out there, and I mean, we still have a few more hours for the con, even though by the time you see this, it'll be over. So, if you haven't already gone to YouTube, go check out some panels
Check out the
and tip your local artists.
yes, Patreon is a huge help for all those artists because without those conventions, they basically have no other main alternative to get their products and art out there. And a lot of artwork out there is really super cool. So go ahead and check those guys out, uh, either through Etsy or Patreon or whatever. But until then, my friends here, don't forget we had that new intro video that was pretty super cool. And in my opinion, I think it was a pretty awesome drawings, even though a third grader drew it. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Geeky Ent. It'll definitely help us out. And if you guys like the video, go ahead and drop a like and comment on your San Diego Comic-Con 2020 at-home experience down below. And don't forget to tell your friends about us. And until then, we will see you on the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.